What's up, guys? This is Adam. Welcome to this 1 hour tuition of acids as a thank you for everyone that purchased What Makes Your Heart Beat. Thank you for the support. I'm going to send you guys an email just regarding the future of supporting me and my tunes. I figured that if I could get maybe like 75% of you guys or anyone who I guess who bought the track who was watching this video to buy a track every time it comes out in return for a video, I thought it'd be really cool just to get like a network of maybe 30-40 guys just to support my tracks and my music. Obviously these are worth about £45 an hour and you guys are spending £2 on a track. So I'm going to send an email out and just try and get a little group together that are going to support every track I do, basically. And more importantly, the label tracks, which I'm hopefully getting coming soon, the label. But yeah, anyway, more information about that soon. So, acids. I was going to do this as a My Loops tuition video, but then I thought that's not really fair because you guys are going to have access to them anyway. So I'm going to do an acid one here, and I'll do a My Loops one separately in a few months. So you'll get another dose of the acids. Might be a bit similar, but I've got basically 4 subjects when it comes to acids. So four areas I want to cover. So they're acid patterns, acid one-shots, continuous acids, and using audio for acids. So let's get right to it. I'm just going to make a little bit of a beat because without having a beat or anything like that, it's tough to get the rhythm right for the acids. I'm just going to go to the desktop. Where are we at? Day Parkinson 2. Drum loops. Go for 140. So I'll just find a beat that's pretty cool. Nice kick in that one. That sounds pretty cool. Obviously not working on kick and bass today, so I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter about getting it perfect, but let's look again. The bass in there. Resized it by the looks of it. Oh, God. Not really any luck. Should have done this before, really. It's one of them days. It's actually just easier sometimes just to fucking draw in a region. There you go. Suck it. about that too much now. So we've got a little beat to get going. Always important that you do that before trying to make your acids. You guys should be following the 10-step program anyway. So by the time you are doing acids, you should have all the fundamental basics of your track done. So this shouldn't be a problem. Right. So let's have a look. A lot of people always ask, like, how do you know the MIDI? Like, how do you know what to, how to, can't speak. How should I do the MIDI? Trying to find that notepad. Seems to have disappeared. Not having any luck today. It's gone. Very strange. Yeah, so everyone's always like, well, what MIDI do you use for acids? And a good starting point is using MIDI out of MIDI packs, because it's just, like I said, a good starting point. It takes away time and effort to try and write your own. And I don't really consider it cheating or being uncreative or anything like that, because at the end of the day, you can still go and change it. It's just a good way to get, it's a good starting point, as I've said 14 times. So if we go to some Trance samples, there's already a MIDI pack in the Dropbox folder, so you guys should have that. Yeah, and there's loads of cool acids in here, so let's just go and have a look at, there you go, these are MTI acids. For whatever reason they're not in there, in Dropbox, just let me know and I'll put them in there. Unfortunately, you can't preview the MIDI, which is a bit of a shit thing in Logic, I think. There should be a way to preview it, like just with like a little basic piano. I know you can do that in a couple other DAWs, but in Logic you can't. So, anyway, let's go down to the MIDI stack. Now, of course, you see that I'm all bussed up, and on there we've got an EQ. This is just going to take care of them nasty low ends and anything above 18K, which you should all know by now is my basic standard EQ. Then we've got a Mag EQ4 in there, with a female vocal setting. It changes back to untitled for some reason, but it is on there. And then we've got a maximizer, which is basically the same as it's a limiter, but a maximizer allows you to limit certain frequencies, but we're not going to mess about with that. I don't do that. So I'm just going to put that on there, put the threshold down a tiny bit, and that's just basically going to keep a lid on things. Just going to keep everything under control a little bit. We're not looking to limit the sound particularly, but it's just going to keep a lid on things and allow us to get more room out of the acids without clipping. Turn the bus down to around -5. And yeah, so the first thing we want to do is find a bit of audio. So a bit of MIDI. So yeah, you can use these MIDI packs. There's loads of different things you can use. I'm going to do today, I'm going to use some of specific acid ones and then show you how you can use baseline MIDIs as well. For many years I've used baseline MIDIs for acids and it works really well. So for now, let's just get a couple in there. And we'll just test it with Sylenth. So this is just the preset, standard preset bank. Not very good. There's a really good one somewhere. I can't remember what it is. Power of Trance Epic. This is a really cool pack, this Alamoro pack, just the Alamoro and Bluff Monkey Sylenth bank. It's really cool. So we'll just put a bit of delay on it and just see if this pattern's any good. We're not looking to do the acids at the minute. Not bad actually. Definitely will work. So let's move that along for now. See, that's just boring. I don't think that's going to work, but... Shit, not a very good sound either. I can't see that being very good. Take that back. That's actually really nice. See, this is a great thing about these acids. This pack, particularly this MTI one, is there's some great midis in there that you just wouldn't really think of doing. So it's wicked. Again, really nice one. So we'll just duplicate that a couple of times. So that's from this MIDI pack, specific for acids. Let me just show you a different one. Activa pack, doesn't matter which one. Or you can use any pack really, any pack with bass lines in there. I just want the top bassline midis. These are good for continuous acids. That one's going to be a bit too much, too many notes in there. Saying that, they're all continuous acids, but we can deconstruct them and make them into acid one-shots. Try to change the synth. Pretty cool. The velocity maybe too low. Not getting much out of that. What's happening when the velocity tool doesn't seem to be working? I can actually hear that in my head. Will work really nice as not a massive driving acid, but more of an atmosphere acid. If we put these omniboys on it, it's gonna work really well. Right, so we've got 4 cool acids here. We need to change the sounds on some. I'm not going to use any channel strips like I normally do, but I'll probably save all these so in the future I can recall them. Sure. Forgot to find out what key this bass was in. It's a schoolboy error. That's not telling me. Thankfully it wasn't that hard to find, I don't think. Dave Parkinson 2, was it? Bass shots. Oh, I don't know where it was. So let's look at first at continuous acids. We've covered the MIDI and how you can find some nice acid lines with the MIDI. We're going to deconstruct these later on for the one shots, but it's always good to start out with the continuous ones because, like I said, you can then deconstruct them later on. How many acids should you have in a track? Well, I guess it's down to personal preference and whether they work or not. Remember, at the minute we've only got 2 elements going on, so it's quite easy to get them to fit. Just for the sake of arguments, let's just go and put in a nice simple bit of... What is going on? My keyboard is not working today. Let me just save this a second. Shortcuts just aren't working in Logic. Don't know what's going on. Hopefully just reopen it will help. Right, there you go. Is it working now? Yay. So this is just going to add a bit of texture and depth to the track. And like I said, when you should have always pretty much done all the atmosphere and all the percussion and stuff already done by the time you do your acid. So it's important that I put this in there just to give me a bit more of an idea of how it's going to sound. Much luck with this. Shit, today all this. What is going on here? Tell you what. It might be because it's the start of the track, it's just not playing right. If this ever happens, just make sure you just chop it. It's one of them days where just nothing's going right. That's the right key and it's not even fucking right. It doesn't sound right. So that's gives us a bit more depth. So it's going to give us a fairer representation of how the acids sound. So we've got this nice little acid here. I'm just going to do some automation on it. Straight away it works really well. I don't really need to do that much. You can see straight away all I've got on there is an omniboys just for the effect. Let's just play the kick and the sub at the same time as the acid and EQ it right. So I'll do a filter sweep. So I'm just doing that sweep to see how far I can bring the bass down without it getting in the way. Generally it's always down around about 200, but right. Now we want to put it in latch mode and do some drawing. So as you can see, it's just drawing that in. Now because we're going to our bus channel and we've got the Maggie Q4 in there, which is bringing it out, we just don't really need to EQ this. Find sounds that work well, as I always say, and your tracks will come together much more. Of course, this sounds a little bit tacky because there's not much else going on. It's just like a kick and bass that isn't mixed properly, but you know what I mean, we're doing acids and it gives you an indication of how it will sound. Just checking something. Just wondering if A sharp can be B flat. Is it the same? It said B minor. Just doesn't sound in key. B flat. It could be the same. I'm just going to do my own sub bass because I can't, it just doesn't sound right. Oh, bugger off. Definitely one of them days. Someone at the door now. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Someone at the door dropping some shit off. So yeah, we're just doing this acid. That's how I was doing a bass line, wasn't I? Because it just didn't sound in key. Like an old style John Askew bass line. It's a really weird noise in this kick. can just. I just put a nice little curve in there, 1.5 decibels at 48 hertz. Just brings the kick out more. It was a bit thin before. That's working really nicely. So this is more of an atmosphere acid, like I said, just an ongoing continuous acid. It's not a really driving acid, but it's going to sit nicely in the mix. So you can see I'm just going to edit it a little bit. Because it's a kind of a laid back acid, it's not like some kind of acid drop like that Blomkamp 5 where it's just a main driving force. It's an element that we can take advantage of the stereo spread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this out a little bit and just take it away from the kick and the sub, and yeah, just spread it out a little bit. How much, I don't really know. I always just do something randomly because, like I say, it's more of an acid kind of atmosphere. More of an atmosphere kind of acid. General rule of thumb is that you can pan them or stereo spread them quite wide, and it still sounds great. I would probably pan this acid as well, to stereo spread it. I'm stereo spreading things a lot more than panning now because it's just a great tool. We'll go 50 on this one. Remember to always write it down when you do something, when you do a pan or a stereo spread, and that way you don't get into that space again. Because the whole idea of spreading it or panning is that you're putting things across the stereo field in their own place, so it works really nicely. So now let's put this continuous acid in. Shocking in a minute. It's nice. It sounds a little bit thin, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some. I like Noveltech character at the minute. It's basically like Maggie Q4, just a different kind of version. It's got a really good preset called Mix Crisper. It just kind of just bring things alive. Really nice tool. So I'm just going to do some automation. Before we do that, let's find a cutoff point. That's nice. So that's where we're going to start. Very nice, drawing that in nicely. When it comes to drawing in the cutoff, it's just you just got to use your ears and you see what you think sounds good. There's no real rule of thumb. The only bit of advice I can give in terms of a cutoff is before you try and start doing the automation and recording the automation, Find a starting point like I just did. Took me what 10 seconds to do, you know. So this one, I'm going to spread it again, just give it its own space. But because it's more of because it's more in your face and a main element to the drive of the track, that's what I want it to be. I'm not going to spread it as far. That's my only rule of thumb in terms of spreading and panning. Main elements, I don't tend to spread as much. I mean, we'll just go for something like 15. Oops. So it's gone to 16 for some reason. Can't go to 15. So it's still spreading it, putting it in its own space across the stereo field, but just not quite as much. I think you know what with this. We've got this pattern. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I'm going to put it down there because we might deconstruct it, but what happens when you just do a continuous note? Sometimes you change things about. Straight away, we've got two really nice acids in there. Both are driving, both are continuous. One is more of an atmosphere acid, but they've both got their own space and they both sound great. And the cool thing about it is, look at the EQ on each one. Basic EQ, keeping things simple. That shouldn't be there. So your life's so much easier when you find sounds that work together well with your foundation elements, kick, your bass. Find things that are working well. Let the bus do the work. When we've done the entire acid channel, we could maybe do a bit of subtractive EQing on the bus, but it's tricky because it might affect each acid differently. So we'll see about that. Also, everyone always says, do you have sidechain on your acids? Generally not, but let's have a little look and just see if it can help, maybe just a little bit. Just so when the kick hits, the acid ducks a little bit. I always use the LFO tool. It's a great place to start. If you're curious about what to use, you can ask me for my sidechain settings, but generally it's just one of these 6 that I'll put on. If you pull this little node to the left, it should stop any clicking, and the further you pull this down, the more sidechaining you will get. So we'll just keep it fairly straightforward for now and have it quite high. A little bit more omniboys on this. It's not moving as much as I like. I'm going to put a little bit of reverb on the acid, just a little bit to give it some life. It sounds like there's already some reverbs on the synths, but I'm just going to add a little bit more. Really nice now. So it gets tricky when you want to start adding more continuous acids. We might not add any more, but this is the hardest part I find, and that's doing the one-shot acids. I really like this one actually, so we're going to add this. It's not a one-shot. We might make it into a one-shot, but let's go ahead and change the synth. Silence a nice starting point, but I think, did we use Hive? Is that one Hive? Yeah, so Hive's nice. That's a INZ pack, which is in the Dropbox. So Spire's really nice for acids if you get the right sound. It's got quite a thick and dirty sound, which is going to be perfect for this, I reckon. We'll try this INZ thing. I don't think he's got any acids actually. No, I don't think he has. All good there. Put the wrong one on. Just duplicate that. Sound. Acids, to be fair, then. See if he's got any in bank too. It's really weird. I thought he had some. Not to worry. Try something else. Tempo 1 Essentials. Any acids? A few. I think that pack will be nice for the one shots. Sick. See, you take. Let me show you if you take everything off, because it sounds great already with the basic EQ and nothing else. But it's because it's going to this bus. To be fair, it sounds great anyway. But you put the Mag EQ4 on, bit of reverb. Brings it to life. So it's just sound selection. I reckon a nice little bit of delay on this would work nicely. time the bass moves, we want to change the cutoff. I find it easier to use a knob, to be fair. So I'm just gonna. Is that it? Nope. There you go. So. A lot of the time I'll edit it. You can hear it coming in there. That would work nicely a second time. So I've got the rhythm to work, found the lowest point that the cutoff's going to work at, and now I'm going to record it in. The cutoff filter didn't work there, no idea why, so I'm just going to do it manually. And like I said, I'm going to try and move it every note so we get a nice bit of movement going. If you don't move it every note, you find that it just sounds a little bit strange. So, got the knob selected. We're going to there. Right. So basic. Don't quite like that one, but nearly there. See, with this one, it has to start low and then build up, otherwise it just doesn't work. It has to go down nicely too. teases that note in. This one, I'm going to get it to nicely go up. Very nice. So for this one, I'll spread it a little bit, but not much. Again, it's a real main element. It's going to be curious to see how it works with the other ones. We'll soon find out. And we'll just try and put some one-shots in. But yeah, this acid tutorial is going really well so far. At the start of the tutorial, things just weren't going right with the controls and stuff, but it seems to be working good. So, imaging, stereo spread. Let's go for 10%. So although we use that MIDI as a starting point, I've kind of changed it. But that's fine. It's just a starting point. Sometimes you leave it the same. Sometimes you might want to change it. I felt I could hear the notes in different places in my mind. So that's why I changed it. Can I use a filter to fade this in? Nicely. I'm just going to look at this one. Maybe when this new one comes in, just turn the high pass down. Might leave actually. So you can see that this new acid, the one we've just done, let's look where the frequency is showing the body of it. Between 200 hertz and 5k. So I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to go ahead and put a new EQ on. So what I'm doing is, as this new EQ comes in, I'm going to turn this EQ on the top one. So that's this one. So let's just put it in touch mode. So basically, as it comes in, the new acid, we're going to put on this EQ, and it's just taking some of the frequencies that this new acid tends to cover. So it's just like making room for it a little bit. So that's some subtractive EQ, some surgical EQ there. Let's just see how it sounds all together. I'm going to do a couple of one shots and call it a day. Awesome, so that's working really nicely. So now, just for the last 10 minutes, let's do some one-shot acids. Like I said, these are always tough to get right, I find, but by deconstructing the files that we've already put in there can really help. So we'll use these ones. So it's all about getting the right MIDI pattern and the cutoff filter and the right sound. So yeah, right MIDI pattern, right groove, right sound, and then the right cutoff. So I'm just going to move that. Just put a kick and a bass in. So we need to find a good sound. Gonna go to load a bank. Why is he not letting me load the banks? Preset bank load, that's why. Refresh the squeeze, try the Sean Tyas one. The octave also makes a difference too. Turn that EQ off a minute. Oh, it's not going to the acid bank either, the acid bus, so careful there. Consistency is key. That's nice, but it's so thin, so we need to thicken it out. How do we thicken it out? Well, we can remove some of the low end, but that's just going to get in the way of the sub bass. So we'll have to have a look at other methods. Putting Omniside on it's a really good idea. It seems to crash a lot, which is annoying. because it's a crack. It's going to save it actually. That would be okay. Turn the arpeggiator off. So I'm going to put it in latch mode. All I've done there is get Silence. It's an acid sequence EQ from a Sean Tyas and Darren Porter Silence Bank. I've turned the ARP off. I've put Omnicide on there. I've got a delay on there. And then it's going to the bus. That's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Now is a tricky bit. It's getting the acid, getting the cut off right. It seems to change every time. We make sure that on the LFO we turn it off, and that should stop it changing. It's just a bit thin. Pull this down. Got that annoying node there. There you go. Move that out of the way, just deconstructing things. 1 2 1 2 1 2. So you can see taking one sound and just deconstructed it. No method to this, I'm just literally doing it as I go. See, having that long note and the cough, it doesn't really affect it, so. Omni side really brings it to life. I'm just going to pull this trim down. I'll put a bit crusher on there as well. Really fuck it up. Put this last one there. But with that one, I'm going to put this one's cut stuff on there just to change it up a bit. Right, let's just do the bit crusher. Put it in latch mode. Move these out a bit. Spread these out, and you can use the high pass filter to bring them in a bit, because there's not much else going on in the track at the minute. They sound a bit weird, but when you've got all the mid basses and everything like that, they'll sound great. I'm just going to tremolo this just so it moves left and right, gives it a bit of movement in the track, if I can find it. Go for a bar so it's nice and long, and then we've not spread it yet, so I'm going to go and spread it. Let's have a look what we've got so far. 10, 16, 14, 15. So I'm going to go in the middle and go for 30. And it's just going to put it its own place in the mix, spread it nice and wide. And you can see with the acids, we're using the stereo field, 10%, 16, 30, 40, 50. So each acid's got its own place in the mix, along with that atmosphere. And it just takes away the acids from the mono-ness, which is the kick, the sub. So let them things sit in the middle. All your leads are going to sit in the middle. But things like this, spread it across your track. The space is there, use it. So there you go. Then I might do 2 or 3 more different constructed, deconstructed acids, just to get some real movement in there. But it sounds great. There's no percussion in the track, so there's no drive really, no mids. Do you know what I mean? There's not much else going on. But when you combine all them other elements together, which you will already have in the track, because you will have done the 10-step program, so all the percussion, the bass, do you know what I mean? All them elements that we've gone over time and time again in the 10-step program will have been done. So when you're adding the acids into the track, it's just going to completely change the depth, the feel of the track, bring it to life, add depth, and yeah, loads of movement in there. So yeah, that is how I approach my acids really. I'll do the My Loops video in a couple of months, just to get more of the same really. But I'll try and plan it out a little bit better, so I'm not searching for sound banks and stuff, because a couple of people that have bought the templates have moaned about that. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. You can ask any questions if you just want to email me. It's a nice 7-minute tutorial there. Again, thanks to everyone that supported What Makes Your Heart Beat. I will be emailing you soon just to let you know about creating this little network that I mentioned at the start of the track. So if you want more of these special exclusive videos, then we can talk about that later on. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that, guys. Thanks. See you soon.